For this podcast, my topic will be on, is napping an effective tool to help stress? I personally sometimes resort to taking naps when I am stressed and also know many people that do the same. I have found that it has tend to help people, but also make it worse for them. I usually like to deal with stress right away, but sometimes a nap does help me relax and think about the situation, because it lets me refresh my mind and deal with the stress with clear thoughts. I want to do the podcast on this topic so I can go further into research and find out if napping really is a helpful tool to help stress or not. To prepare for this podcast, I have come up with questions on my own and gone online to research them through studies and articles. I will also be interviewing a few people about their own experiences with napping and stress. My first question was simply, does stress get in the way of our sleep? What I do know is that it can be very difficult for you to have a good night's sleep when you are stressed. Some people have found that they have trouble falling asleep, while others wake up during the night or fail to reach the average amount of hours of sleep they should get. Missing these hours become crucial and cause even more stress. I personally have had a restless night of sleep because my mind was stuck on a certain situation or on an assignment I needed to get done. Waking up the next day, I still had that stress because I wasn't able to get enough sleep. This got me thinking that, when faced with stress, what if we were to take some time for ourselves and just nap? Would we be able to handle the stress in a better way after waking up? And would our minds be more refreshed, and would we feel relaxed? Sleep is very crucial and is a necessary human function. When we do not sleep enough, our bodies don't get the full benefits. This can affect our memory, judgment, and mood. Looking further into this question, I have found a study through the American Psychological Association on how stress may be interfering with American sleep, keeping many people from getting the sleep they need to be healthy. According to their findings, American adults reported sleeping an average of 6.7 hours a night, which is less than the recommended of 7 to 9 hours. Adding on to that, 42% of adults report that their sleep quality is fair and poor, and 43% say that stress has caused them to lie awake at night in the past month. Many also report that their stress increases when the length and quality of their sleep decreases. Teens also say that stress has an impact on their sleep and vice versa. They report sleeping far less than the minimum age-based recommendation of 8.5 to 9.25 hours. More than 1/3 of teens report that stress caused them to lie awake at night in the past month. And for teens who sleep fewer than 8 hours per school night, many say their stress level has increased over the past year. Seeing how less sleep equals more stress, it is now important to see if napping will help this equation out. Studies have found that napping can relieve stress and allow a person to escape for a short time and help them refresh themselves, while also regulating hormones associated with stress and the immune system. Hormones that are released when we are experiencing stress are only supposed to be at those levels at that short period of time, so if we don't deal with it somehow, those levels can lead to stress-related sickness and even disease. For an example, researchers from the Sorbonne University in Paris found that a brief nap was effective in relieving stress and strengthening immune system function in a study they did on men who had only slept 2 hours the night before. Their data had suggested that a 30-minute nap can reverse the hormonal impact of a night of poor sleep. For this study, the researchers conducted sleep tests on 11 healthy men between the ages of 25 and 32. In the first session, the men were only allowed to sleep for 2 hours in one night, and in the second session, the men were allowed to take 2 30-minute naps the day following a night that they got only 2 hours of sleep. On the evening prior to both of these sessions, the subjects got 8 hours of sleep. After the night of only 2 hours of sleep, the men's levels in heart rate, blood pressure, and blood sugar were 2.5 times higher than they were after a normal night of sleep. However, when the men had napped twice after a night of a limited sleep, the researchers found no change in those levels. These findings show that napping can reverse some of the negative health effects of poor sleep and can also promote overall well-being. It also shows that napping can help boost mood, productivity, creativity, and our memory, which overall keeps us from getting stressed. With the information given, many may still think that napping is not good for them and it might be seen as lazy, but it really shouldn't. Usually when stressed, you would think that it's best to deal with it right then. Putting it off could just make it worse for later, but with napping, that isn't exactly true. Napping can help counter those difficult situations and stress you're dealing with. When you have an unhealthy sleeping pattern and aren't getting enough hours in, that's a main factor of stress put onto you. So, taking a short nap during the day can help reduce that stress and let you start over. What I usually do sometimes is when I am done with my classes and know that I have some assignments to do that night, I will take a short nap first. This always works for me because when I wake up, I feel ready to go and more determined to get my work done. No one should feel guilty of taking a nap once in a while, because in reality, it is helping you. To make you feel better, here are some other reasons why you should be napping. The first reason why you should be napping is because it increases productivity. Science shows that taking a 20-minute nap during the day can do a lot more for you than sleeping in an extra 20 minutes. With this increase in productivity, you are less likely to face stress because you will be busy with the work that you need to get done and have your sole focus on that. Before a nap, I'm constantly thinking of all the things I need to do, but when I wake up, I set my mind onto one thing and I make it my goal to get it done. The second reason, it boosts your creativity. Stepping back from an assignment or taking a rest while working can refresh your mind and allow for a greater flow of ideas. You will be able to have a better and fresher perspective on your work. I personally have more ideas that come to my mind and that seem to make more sense than they did before after I nap. The last reason, it improves your memory. Naps can improve memory and recall. If you're stressed about a test you have, try taking a quick nap first. During this time of sleep, the mind processes, discards, and organizes information it has already received, which would have been during studying. It won't only improve your memory, but your ability to learn new tasks, see patterns, and recall words. Some may not think this is the best idea, but right before I have a test, I'll stop studying and just relax and take a nap. When I wake up, I know I have all the information I need for the test in my brain and I instantly feel more prepared than I did before. Overall, by starting the habit of taking a daily nap, you can reduce your stress levels and improve your focus and emotional stability. For example, if you work during the day, try napping during your break by setting your alarm for 10 to 15 minutes and going out to your car or another quiet place. If you're a college student, just take some naps in between classes. Doing this continuously will allow yourself to relax and recharge when you go back to work or class. It will not only make a huge difference on your productivity, but your overall health. Continuing on with the question if napping is a good scapegoat, I have found some relevant and similar information in our book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. There's a chapter in the book where Carlson talks about how you should set aside quiet time every day. He mentions that he can't think of a single person who he would consider to be inwardly peaceful who doesn't set aside at least a little quiet time every day for themselves. If it's meditation, taking a 10-minute bath, or yoga, spending time alone helps balance the noise and confusion that consumes much of our day. Carlson even says that when he personally sets aside quiet time for himself, it makes the rest of his day seem manageable. This is a perfect example in why napping is a good scapegoat to let yourself relax and escape from the stress. Another thing I would like to talk about that is relevant to this topic is when we meditate and do breathing exercises in stress management class. Even though we aren't actually going to sleep, it is still close to napping because we're laying down with all the lights off. During these meditations, we're asked to breathe in and out and usually think of a place that we love. While doing these, I have noticed that everything that was on my mind before isn't anymore. I immediately go to the place that I love the most and just picture myself there. I feel more comfortable and relaxed and feel like I have no problems. When we end these meditations, I can easily say that I feel less worried about things. Napping will help you in the same way, where you actually get to escape for a bit and just relax. So, with all this information on why napping is a good stress relief, you may still wonder, is it actually true? Do people feel less stressed after a nap, or do they just feel worse? Previously, I have said that I personally feel better after a nap and more relieved. But to get feedback from others, I have asked some people about their experiences with stress and if napping has helped them. Here are some of their answers.
When I'm feeling stressed, I find the best way to overcome it is when I take a short nap. Although the stress comes from the amount of work that I have to do or the many meetings that I have to go to. It is a relief when I get to take a 10 to 15-minute nap during my hectic schedule. When I wake up from the naps, I find my head more clear and that I'm able to focus on my work and the important things I need to get done with my day. Some days, if it wasn't for my naps, I don't know how I would make it through the day.
Being a nursing student requires a heavy workload and long, stressful days between classes and 12-hour shifts at clinical. When we are asleep, our bodies go through a sleep cycle called circadian rhythms. Each circadian rhythm lasts about 20 minutes, which is an appropriate amount of time to nap. If you sleep less than 20 minutes or longer than 20 minutes, then you may feel just as fatigued, if not more. Personally, taking naps helps me to relieve my stress and feel more energized to get me through the day.
As a student athlete, I find naps very effective, especially after morning workouts. Being able to take a quick nap after classes and an intense morning workout helps me rejuvenate and prepare my body for the second practice or workout of the day. Many times after a morning workout and then sitting in class for a couple hours, you can find yourself feeling sluggish or not paying attention from the change of pace of an intense workout to sitting. Being able to take a quick nap not only helps the body reboost for whatever the rest of the day has planned ahead, but also gives me an extra energy boost that I would definitely need. Hopefully from these answers, you can actually get a good sense in why napping is an effective tool for stress. With all the information I have gathered before and during this podcast, I can say that napping is definitely an effective tool to help stress. Hopefully with the facts given from articles and studies, this will help you realize that maybe you should make napping for 10 to 15 minutes a day a habit. Many may think that it is a better idea to go outside of nature, exercise, or talk about your stress.